Oh, let me tell you something. This body recovery job is not for the weak at heart or the weak of stomach. My name's Gremlin Lord, and I'm here to tell you about the Regal mystery movie that played on December 22nd, 2025, and that movie was We Bury the Dead. After a catastrophic military disaster, the dead don't just rise, they hunt. The military insists they are harmless and slow-moving, offering hope to grieving families. But when Ava enters a quarantine zone searching for her missing husband, she uncovers the horrifying truth. The undead are growing more violent, more restless, and more dangerous with every passing hour.
Rated R.
Ugh. The first thing you'll notice from the trailer is how thrilling the movie looks. There's tension, violence, and drama, all set to a haunting, repeating vocal soundtrack. Then you watch the movie, and all of that is missing. It felt like a real bait and switch. Yes, there is some horrifying imagery in the film, but it's not what you think. Even that voiceover I just did for you in a perfect Australian accent is deceiving. As seen in the trailer, some kind of weapon explodes off the coast of Tasmania, an island state of Australia. It's revealed that this was an American weapon, which raises more questions than are ever answered. Why are the Americans off the coast of Australia with an experimental electromagnetic weapon? What we do know is it was catastrophically devastating. A crater miles wide is all that is left of the city of Hobart. The resulting shockwave burned and pulsed the entire island. This means that all electronic devices were rendered inoperable. This includes humans and animals because we have electric impulses in our bodies. The result is the immediate death of tens of thousands of civilians. But not all of them stay dead. For some reason, some of them reactivate with minimal brain activity. These would be the zombies of the film. For the most part, they are docile, mostly just standing and looking around. There is not a real explanation for this phenomenon. Some people think it's because the dead have unfinished business, and that's why their brains jumpstart back into action. But that doesn't really make any sense, because most people have unfinished business. Maybe you need to finish Christmas shopping or finish a school project. Or maybe you were sitting on the toilet and your unfinished business is to finish wiping. It's a pretty poor and inconsistent reason for these zombies to exist, but I will say it is a bit novel. And unfortunately, it never gets invested or elaborated on further. We also see dead animals, but there's no evidence of them coming back too. The government and military begin a recovery process with the help of volunteers. While the main focus is on combating the fires at the epicenter of the explosion, crews are dispatched to the outskirts of the blast radius to recover bodies. The mission is simple but tedious. Move from house to house, street to street, recovering the bodies of the dead. The volunteers then bring the bodies to the street for retrieval, processing, and then burial in mass graves. Enter Daisy Ridley, who plays Ava, the main character. She's a physical therapist who volunteers for the body retrieval program. However, her main goal is to get to the other side of the island to find her missing husband who is at a work retreat. Ava is respectful of the dead. She spends time observing their lives at the moment of their deaths. Daisy Ridley does a good job at showing her character's emotions throughout the film, but the film doesn't do a good job at correlating those emotions to the story. Ava's recovery partner is Clay, played by Brenton Thwaites. He is much less respectful of the dead than Ava. He pockets personal effects, drinks, does drugs, and wants to steal everything. But he does have a sense of loyalty to Ava. He wants to help her while also filling his coffers. Brenton plays Clay with a good balance. He's kind of a bad guy while also being a good guy. It gives him a bit of needed depth. We follow the duo as they move from building to building, clearing out the bodies. The movie does a good job at showing us this process. It helps give the whole situation a gravity. These are real people whose lives were cut short by a random accident. But I gotta say, this whole process seems rather poorly thought out. Volunteers are paired off for each house or building. If they encounter a zombie, they're supposed to leave the house and activate a flare. This signifies to the military to come and dispose of the zombies. But the fact that they know that some of the zombies can be hostile, the volunteers are in risk of death themselves. It takes time for the military to get there. It would make more sense for there to be military personnel every few houses so the reaction time is quicker. Plus, it would cut down on the instances of theft and anything else inappropriate. That's kind of the problem with We Bury the Dead. Much of the world building and plot are structural, meaning it's more of a framework. We never get answers about the explosion. How are the zombies coming back to life? We never learn why the zombies aren't captured and studied. Clay's backstory isn't revealed till the very end of the film, and by then it's a little late for the audience to start connecting with him. The plot of Ava wanting to get to her husband on the other side of the island is also kind of flat. Her husband is either dead or an angry zombie. I understand that she wants closure, but it doesn't leave much wonder for the audience. Just a long road trip through the country. The same goes for the horror aspect of the film. Don't get me wrong, the whole situation is horrifying. We watch people get decimated by the blast. Their bodies litter every scene. In cars, on the ground, in the bath, or at a party. Life just snuffed out. And that is haunting, but it doesn't pose a threat to the characters. The zombies are treated as more of a novelty than a threat. Ava interacts with them fairly often. There are a few that are more hostile, but it's not enough to cause a lasting fear. Honestly, the zombies could have been removed from the film and the difference would have been negligible. Just shift the focus to the military disaster and the plot can stay almost exactly the same. And that's not a good sign for a zombie horror movie. The film is actually about grief, loss, guilt, and acceptance, which are uncommon horror themes. The reanimated zombies represent the possibility of closure after death. That one final chance to talk to someone. Perhaps that is why they're not featured as much, because there often isn't that final chance. Death is a finality, and people like Ava have to learn to accept that. What I don't accept is the bizarre soundtrack of this film. It's a mixture of punky rock and classical music. The songs almost never fit the scenes. We could be watching a scene about the fragility of life, then all of a sudden you start hearing guitar riffing. And I sat there thinking, what is this? I do want to warn you though, from a sound design perspective, that there is a lot of teeth grating going on in this movie. The zombies all grate their teeth really hard, even chipping some of them. It will be an auditory nightmare for some people. You guys know how much I care about my teeth, so this was extra painful for me. Plus there were close-ups of it. Ugh. There were some nice aerial shots, though there may have been a few too many directly over the head shots. The film is a little washed out looking and desaturated. It's a lower budget film, so that's the expected look for the special effects shots. With a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes, the movie felt overly long. I was actually surprised it wasn't over 2 hours because it felt like it to me. The beginning felt a little too rushed, and then it slowed down pretty bad. But then it picked up some more and then came to a grinding halt. I actually think that making We Bury the Dead a movie was a bad choice. I actually think this story would have been better told as a miniseries, maybe 6 to 8 episodes, 45 minutes to 1 hour each. Ava and Clay travel 200 miles, and it feels lost along the way. Allowing the characters to live and breathe through more of the body recoveries, the road trip, and the conclusion would have created a more deeply unified world. The characters' stories could have been better paced. This would have also prevented the character assassination that happens later on in the movies through Ava's flashbacks. There could have been more exploration to this whole zombies aspect. Maybe some investigation into what caused the explosion? It could have been a deeper version of the story that doesn't need to go on for multiple seasons, like The Walking Dead. But maybe they were worried about comparisons between the two. In the end, We Bury the Dead was a disappointing film, especially after watching the deceiving trailer. The zombies and the horror take a backseat to searching for a missing husband. Too many topics are touched upon without any real delving in. It's barely surface level entertaining. And that final act will have you scratching your head in disbelief. And it's for all of these reasons that I am giving the Regal mystery movie, We Bury the Dead, the teeth-grinding score of 5 out of 10. It's an average horror film that forgets where it's going. While the premise of zombies reanimating is novel, it's never elaborated on. I'm very disappointed because I was actually looking forward to this movie. But what did you think of We Bury the Dead? Leave the body of your comment in the section down below and I'll be by to pick it up shortly. If you missed the early screening, the movie will release on January 2nd, 2026, one of the first films of the new year. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to be ready for all the new and exciting things that are coming to my channel next year. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the other side.